Daggers, baby. Shooting daggers.
Pew pew.
The strange things about this daggers paint is that on the top left corner, it says that it's 1,600 rounds. But if you look at the manufacturer sticker, you can clearly say that it's 2,000 rounds. So what I did was I scaled out a bag of the daggers and I scaled out a bag of GI 3-star, and the daggers actually weighed more. The next thing I did was I counted out a pod, so 130 rounds in the pod, and we had about 3.8 pods. That puts it at over 500 rounds. So what I can confirm is that this daggers paint is a true case of 2,000, despite the interesting branding up here.
8.4?
8.4?
It's just right at it. It's pretty tight in there.
So 6.84, 6.85 bore on the daggers.
So the 8.7 is working good with this paint.
Yeah.
8.7 shooting good?
8.7's a little big probably, but it'll be fine for...
Let's take a look at the warning labels on the sides of this box. One of the things that you want to see is don't shoot people in the eye. That's a given. But also, don't shoot cats. Like, shooting cats with paintballs, not a great idea. Don't freeze them and store them in appropriate temperatures. So here's the other thing on this box that's a little weird. You got Bear DeGidio himself on the side of the box. I know social media always make that plug. But is that too much? Is that over marketing yourself there? I don't know. But hey, at Bear DeGidio, Giant Tactical, let's see if this paint shoots decent today. Why does that shit always happen when I film, dude? Somebody loses their hopper in every video. Shit.
Hey, snake 2! Snake 2! Snake 2!
Dorito corner!
Snake 2, Dorito corner!
Brick! Brick! Snake down! Brick! Dorito corner!
Snake 2, Dorito corner!
Oh, that's clean.
D-bounce, low.
D-bounce 1 with wasp.
D-bounce, pro.
Pull the trigger 200 times, and then you'll get into D-bounce 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go to 10.
That's a good D-bounce level.
We'll go back to the standard.
Will that pass the NPPL robot?
Probably not.
Okay.
NPPL doesn't have robots anymore. They just have Sean Walker stealing money.
Yeah! Zinger!
Get out!
Day. Great performing paint. Let's keep it going. Rip it. Sick. Maybe you'd shoot someone if you weren't shooting a Bob Long. Is this legal? Are you allowed to give him a gun?
Great again.
Oh, I heard something.
Yeah, that one.
Still shoot though.
That's a blown Noid, dude.
That's not noise.
Noid is done.
See the gap right there?
Uh-huh.
That's called the O-ring's not sealed.
Cool gun. All right, go. Perfect. Guys, we're back from the field, and I'm gonna unbox this new case of daggers live in front of you. I already made one of the cuts, gonna try and get the sides and the other side. All right, the daggers are unboxed. Let's get it. So what I'm looking for is broken balls in the bags or excess oil. Those two things right away will show that you don't have a great case of paint. So I'm looking for oil, I'm looking for broken balls. I don't see any visible oil from this window. Everything looks good on this end. Let me check the other. No oil there. All right, so far, all 4 bags look pretty good. Let's keep it going. So one of the other unique things about the daggers is that they're claiming they're made in Quebec, Canada. If you think about it, GI Sports ended up buying out an older paintball company called Droxus, or known as DXS. So what I think happened is that this paint is being manufactured on old school DXS machines. DXS paintballs shot great. I remember shooting X-Ball Gold and X-Ball Silver in the PSP around 2009, 2010. So seeing that X-Ball DXS legacy carry on with this daggers paint, it's pretty cool. All right, the last quick test I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check out the fill and I'm gonna compare it to other practice, mid-end, high-end practice paints. So on the left, you have the daggers. In the center, you have HK Premier. And on the right, you have Fire Swirl Marbleizer. I do like that paint. All right, so I'm gonna crack these open and we're going to compare the fills. I was not expecting all 3 paints to have yellow fill, but that just makes this test even more scientifically sound. So let's start with the HK Premier paint on the right. So the Premier doesn't have a whole lot of fill in each of the balls. The Premier had less fill compared to the Marbs and the daggers. But what was interesting is that the Premier fill is the thickest. This stuff is goopy. But I think because the Premier paintballs are really small, and I'm talking like 681, 682, there's not a whole lot of fill in each of the balls. So that's a budget option, but let's look at the higher end option, the Marbleizer. So the Marbleizer had more fill than the daggers, and it had more fill than the HK Premier, but the fill is a little watery. This is pretty watery. It's just, I don't know, it might be easy to cheat that paint, but because there's so much fill, it's still desirable. Marbleizer is a higher end, more expensive ball than both the HK and the daggers. So on the daggers, the fill is nice and thick, there's a medium amount of fill, but just look at that thickness, look at that soupy thickness. So overall, I was impressed with the daggers. They come at a great price point through Mesa Paintball Supply, now known as AXC Tactical. If you need any paintballs in Arizona, hit them up, tell them Scotty or Willball for Soup sent you, and I'm sure they'll do something for you. Alright guys, this concludes the review of Giant Tactical's Daggers paintballs made by GI in Canada. Alright guys, see you in the next one.